All right, guys, I just saw the scariest movie of my life.
Oh, yeah? What was it?
Yeah, okay, so get this. This young man is cursed by unseen forces to yearn for the love and respect of his stepfather. The curse states that the young man must physically beat his stepfather into a submission to do so. No. This is where it gets scary. The stepfather's heart fails. This leaves the young man lost and confused because now he can no longer physically beat the shit out of him, right? So he's searching for answers in the mountains. And he's he's searching for answers in the mountains. And he ends up falling down a cliffside. Falling. Endlessly falling. This is true terror. Endlessly falling. When he awakes, he finds what he must do, right? He has one final act, and it's to jump over 15 school buses on a moped. This will assuredly end in his death, but it may be the act to earn the respect and love that he needs to survive. He jumps. This is Hot Rod.
Oh my god!
Oh shit!
Dude, another one of my favorite movies of all time. Cool beans.
Today, Happy Horror Hour is proud to be showcasing a modern-day legend and one of the most acclaimed figures in heavy metal music. Hailing from Haverhill, Massachusetts, this rock god came from humble beginnings. Both of his parents having careers in the carnival, it was a natural transition to attract the lights, sounds, and characters of the circus. From an early job as a production assistant on Pee-wee's Playhouse, to an incredible first band effort spanning nearly a decade. And furthermore, a solo career that stands tall to this day. This true creative artist came screeching like a bat out of hell with the debut effort in 2003's House of a Thousand Corpses. Today we showcase the king of Carnival Carnage, the one, the only, Rob Zombie!
The boogeyman is real, and you found it. My worst dream come true. I'm everything.
Don't you blame the movies? Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
It's the Happy Horror Hour.
And here we are. Welcome in. As Matt just said, we are showcasing Rob Zombie today, and we watched all of Rob Zombie's filmography. Asterisk.
Mostly.
Bro.
So here's the thing.
So many movies.
I technically have seen all the movies. I just maybe haven't seen them all in this decade.
I think we all kind of felt it this week, right? Like going through. it was quite a monumental task to try and get all of this in.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, for me, honestly, so fucking worth it. Like, it was so much fun, like diving into all these different movies and like seeing kind of how he progressed as a filmmaker. I think was really fucking cool.
We should start with the trilogy because it's the most Rob Zombie. You know, no
Yeah,
studio
for sure.
influence.
Most Rob Zombie. Most Rob
it's like
Zombie.
Most Rob Zombie.
So in House of a Thousand Corpses, just generally, it's kind of a scattered film. You know, Rob takes a very artistic approach to it, and for me, it just kind of felt like, well, this must be in that time what Rob Zombie sees when he closes his eyes at night.
Yeah.
Which is fucking terrifying.
Another thing to keep in mind is that like he was doing nothing but music videos up until this point too. So
Yeah.
this movie, like I actually had one of my first notes was like watching the credits of House was this is a nice little like Rob Zombie music video. Like,
Totally. And it's a style of filmmaking that he goes back and relies on in later films that I'll touch on, but yeah, I totally agree. I felt that.
Yeah,
too.
I basically sum this movie up as Rob Zombie trying to make Texas Chainsaw Massacre through the lens of a kaleidoscope.
oh, interesting.
Which I think is perfect.
yeah.
That's a really good fucking call, dude.
I mean, there are some great standouts of House of a Thousand Corpses as far as imagery goes, performances. We're introduced to the great Bill Moseley.
Bill Moseley is such a fucking badass. Like, it's just ridiculous, right? And I think with me, like, especially with House of a Thousand Corpses, like, you're introduced to this character, Otis Driftwood, who he's almost like this otherworldly like creature from hell that like has no regard for human life whatsoever. And he's fucking truly terrifying. Like it's
You know what I described him as is In House of a Thousand Corpses, Otis sounds and looks like a cult leader, like in the final stages before like everybody commits suicide, you know?
I brought you here for a reason. But unfortunately, you and your sentimental minds are doing me no good.
He's gone
Shit,
full batshit crazy, all in.
Can I give Gabby a
leader
point for that
status.
one?
Yeah, I'm going to give Gabby a point for that.
Point for Gabby.
That was a good
Noted.
call. Otis is probably one of my favorite horror villains of all time. Like, out of any of them. I connect with that
I
think
hard. In that film, we're introduced to a really great character. I think over the course of the trilogy, Bill really builds upon that character and gives him so much more depth. But as far as House of a Thousand Corpses goes, sticking in that world for me, some of his monologues got a little too monologue-y.
Totally.
And I just got a little, I don't know, bored of the character at a certain point, which is odd to say of such an eclectic character. But speaking of eclectic characters, there's one man that really won me over, and I think won everybody over within the first, 10 minutes of the film, and that's Sid motherfucking Haig, Captain fucking
R.I.P. Sid
Spaulding.
Haig.
R.I.P.
What the hell are you all still doing here? What, are you in love with my ass or something? Well, why don't you just get up off that couch and come here and kiss me on my ass then?
I fucking love Captain Spaulding. That's literally
how
my
could
first
you
name.
not? And he sells you, and he's so bought into the character, and it's just so wild and zany, but also there's this wholesomeness about him. I mean, even when he's like giving that bag of fried chicken at the end of the murder ride.
Here's your complimentary chicken. Oh, wow. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
You're like, wow, he's still a really nice guy. You know?
Yeah.
What were those bodies at the bottom of the hole? Then they're like,
that's a really good question.
I was like,
okay, so I was actually going to ask about that too, because they seem almost like zombies and stuff, right? Like they don't seem like they're
Like Rob
they're
zombies.
living people.
hey, ding, 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 ding,
Or
ding.
white zombies.
This fucking guy.
Matt loses 5 points. No. I have a theory on the bodies at the bottom there. I think because Dr. Satan originally was not supposed to be like a character. He was supposed to be kind of just be like a cover for the Firefly family. And it wasn't until later on they added all that footage of Dr. Satan later. So part of me
So
was
Dr.
wondering,
Satan footage was shot post-production of the film?
yes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
They,
So
Yeah.
what was the deal there? Like, was it like a studio call or?
Yeah, so what happened is that they showed a cut to the studio, and they were like, does it have an ending? Because it seems like you just kind of stopped filming.
Is there any more to this recording?
And they were like, yeah. And so they gave him $4 million to go shoot a new ending. And so basically everything after like them going down into the thing is like a new ending. That's why the set is so epic with all the skulls and everything. And Dr. Satan has this crazy lab and all that. That's $4 million of fuck it.
As we're watching Rob Zombie's films, we're literally like, we're watching him progress as a filmmaker before our eyes.
No, exactly.
And every actor.
Does anybody want to talk about the fact that Dwight Schrute is in this film?
Oh, right.
Or how
right.
about
Okay,
that?
well, no, the fish boy.
Fish boy.
We're mad.
Fish boy.
Oh my god!
He
And then
becomes Fish
speaking
Boy.
of
Frog
speaking
boy.
of smaller roles in this film, Walton Goggins is one of my all-time favorite actors, and I'm sure you guys love him
He
too.
was great.
He's a standout in that movie. I mean, he just nails that like cocky sheriff.
You thinking what I'm thinking, partner? Aim for the bushes.
It is an interesting thing in this film, and he carries it out through all of his films, where when he has a character, an emotionally invested character die, where the father goes looking for his daughter at the house, when the father gets shot, he starts flashing in imagery from family home videos of that father and the daughter during Christmas time and enjoying their time together. And it really humanizes characters in their death, which is, I think that's like the most horrific part for me.
Yeah, dude. Like, honestly, and I'm glad you brought that up because before we really dive into that, the dad is old Matt Damon in Saving Private Ryan, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not just imagining that.
Yeah, no, I put, like in my notes, I put Private Ryan ain't gonna make it.
Okay, good. Because I was like, I'm like, why do I know that guy? Like, he looks so familiar, and I'm like, it's gotta be the guy from Saving Ryan's Privates.
Are we calling House of a Thousand Corpses the spiritual successor to Saving Private Ryan?
It is the sequel.
House of a
Think about
Thousand
the timeline.
Corpses actually Saving Private Ryan canon? Is it
Yes,
canon?
it is.
Yeah, it's established.
Tom Hanks would
Bro,
be
yeah.
fucking pissed.
Definitely.
Lead a good life. Make it worth it.
I've tried to live my life the best I could. I hope that was enough.
Can we talk about Agatha Christie's?
Oh,
Oh shit! Yeah,
I was like, fuck, I want a bowl.
that was
Bro,
fantastic.
when fucking Tiny comes down the stairs and
Oh,
it has
I love
that fucking
Tiny.
box of Agatha Christie's,
Tiny.
I literally laughed out loud.
Oh, also Tiny, very, very, very much a nod to Texas in a lot of ways. Also,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
definitely. And not
Yeah.
only that, but Tiny is definitely not tiny. So
No.
in case anybody,
In that same
anybody
scene-
wanted to know.
in that same scene, not only does he rock Agatha Christie's, he's also rocking one of the best Halloween costumes I've probably.
Yeah,
I want
cheap
that
ass
shit
Halloween
so
costume.
bad, bro.
Just to be clear for the audience, it's a t-shirt.
It literally says cheap ass Halloween costume shirt.
It is so fucking punk rock. At the time that it came out, it has some excellent moments in it. But it's definitely still a beginner film, and I think as we'll see with Devils, we only see him get better and see this
Yeah.
get more polished and get this family the real attention that they deserve, attention to who they really are. And so for me, it's a 3 for me, but I love it. It's great.
As far as being an intro to what Rob Zombie's mind is, I think it just it's unbelievable. I agree with you. I gave it 3 stars.
I wanted to do a quick shout out to Karen Black for championing. Someone help me.
Championing. Damn, that is hard.
Championing.
Wow, championing the role of Mother Firefly in this first film, because she brings that zaniness to it, and she's a
absolutely.
horror legend herself. And this is the only film, unfortunately, we're going to see of her in the Rob Zombie filmography. So, shout out to her. She keeps that 2 stars solid for me, but not enough for the 3.
Okay, so originally I was like, it's going to be 5 stars. This is easy. And then at the end of the movie, Gabby looks at me and goes, is it really 5 stars though? If it wasn't nostalgia goggles, is it really? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna
Nostalgia goggles.
fuck.
Nostalgia goggles is fucking amazing, but also fucking gotta rely on the wife putting you in check.
Yeah, and I was like, shit. And I was like, all right, it gets 4 stars. And then I'll introduce you to my other rating that I've had so far. It's a 1 to 5 scale of how much Sherry Moon Zombie is sexualized in every movie. Which, by the way, it is... she is doing it herself. She's what I like about it is kind of a sense of empowerment of she doesn't do anything she doesn't want to do. And so it's kind of cool that she's on board. So yeah, so I thought it was going to be a 5 star. It got knocked down to 4 stars for me. 5 on the Sherry Moon being sexualized scale.
Right now, where we're going to get is The Devil's Rejects.
Yes.
It's 2005. Rob Zombie has his follow-up sophomore effort.
Bro.
And
2005. I just want to set the stage real quick. 2005. I was a senior in high school.
Matt and I were entering freshman year.
8th grade.
Were we?
Nope, we were 8th grade.
8th grade going
Oh,
into
2006.
freshman year. Yeah, no, Zach nailed it. You guys were going into freshman year, but 2005. Think about that.
Oh, yeah,
we
I
were
guess, yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Do you think that your feelings on Rob Zombie films, I think especially for Matt, when I first started dating Matt, he was still very big Rob Zombie fan. So do you feel watching these films now versus when you were then and you first watched these movies, the feelings are different?
I watched Rob Zombie movies to try to get into Matt's pants. That's it.
That's the thing you and Gabby have in
I
common.
saw that
Point for
my
Zach.
babe.
No. Fuck you. Point for Zach because he finally admitted it.
I love you, dude. I love you, bro Montana. I love you, Holmes. I love you, Broseph Goebbels. I love you, Machacha. I love you, Tico Brohe.
Okay. I'm just going to say it. Devil's Rejects, hands down, is my favorite horror movie of all time. Hands down.
Whoa. Can we get a
Whoa.
sound drop there?
What the fuck? Hot take. Hot take.
You can't claim that episode 2. I'll
No,
allow
it's
it.
not even episode
but
2.
I
I've
object.
watched a lot of horror movies.
Wait. How about
Devil's
this
Rejects at this time
one? Your
is
favorite horror film so far.
So far.
This is the worst day of my life.
The worst day of your life so far.
I'm going to open up this film with a little debate, guys. the first thing we're seeing in Devil's Rejects is a young, naked woman being dragged through the leaves. And she has a shaved perginy. Now,
No, landing strip.
what
landing
is with
strip.
the shave?
No, she was shaved completely on that
She
one.
was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she
You
was.
sick fucks remember.
Well, I took a note. Now, every one of Rob Zombie's films take place on Halloween in the 70s, and you can't convince me otherwise. Where is the bush, guys? Hashtag free the bush.
Agreed.
It is 1970s. If you don't have a bush, you better get the merkin.
I just like if Rob Zombie ever stumbles upon this podcast, that's my first question. Where was the bush? Because he's got the big beard, he's got the dreads. You can see the man appreciates the art of the hair.
Yeah.
Give me
I
some
wonder
bush,
though.
guys.
I wonder if it has to do with like he does use like porn stars a lot, like for some of these scenes. So I also wonder if it's just kind of like, well, you get what you get kind of thing.
Guys,
Yeah. It bleached away.
vagina wigs.
True.
Merkin.
You know,
The merkins,
fair.
bro.
Fair. If men get fake facial hair, we should get some giny
Are we
hair.
gonna?
I just
We
want some
released-
more representation out there for the real ones, because not
Yeah, what
everybody's
up?
getting waxed and not everybody's getting shaved. And especially in the 70s, I have to save my piece here. Give me some bush. That's it. That's
Okay, I will agree with Zach. Like at the end of the day, the 70s, like nobody was clean shaven like that, at least that I know of.
that we know of. I mean, I've seen the Playboys at my uncle's house.
Shaved is a magazine I'm not too familiar with.
So, like, half of my notes were about Sheriff Lydell in the beginning. Like, I wrote down so many notes.
Lord, I am your arm of justice, your righteous sword of vengeance.
What Rob Zombie's doing is actually, like, really intelligent here. So, like, the way he's showing Lydell, as they're, like, unloading and shit, he's shooting. He takes a shot to the fucking chest like it's nothing. Like, he takes a step back and then keeps approaching. And then during the breach, he takes point. He never backs down. He's always approaching forward. He's shooting the whole time. And he gets the kill shot on the Firefly, specifically. He's the one that gets the kill shot on the big guy. And so, like, all of that, like, coalesces together in, like, 3 minutes to prove that this guy is a worthy threat and he's a worthy foe, so that as
Dude.
he's chasing him, it lends credibility.
You know
Every
what?
single one of those things adds together.
I'm going to give
do
Matt
that.
a point. That is a great fucking call, and honestly, something that
Point
I
for
didn't
Matt.
necessarily pick up. Like, I picked up the fact that he's a fucking total badass, but you made a really, really good
Those were
point
all
there.
the little things that made you think that.
You want a piece of this? Huh? What you got? What you got?
Surmise our thoughts on Devils, and just right off the bat, we all kind of had the same feeling that Rob Zombie right now in Devil's Rejects in the beginning of the film has now painted characters with bold strokes immediately.
Yeah.
We immediately
Yes.
can read these characters and we know what world we're in, right? And then and right off the bat, we know what the concept of this film is. It's simple. It's clear. It's fucking rock and roll. It's bullets flying at you. Get in your fucking car. Let's go. And we have this unstoppable force that's just like, I'm coming to get you. And right there, you're fucking jacked. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
Like, we're
I
going
agree.
on
Like,
this
Yeah.
mission.
Rob Zombie really kind of gave us this whole world and grounded these characters in this world for us. And I feel like, again, with House, it was one of those things where they were just these like creatures of the night kind of thing. Whereas in Devil's Rejects, they exist among us.
So I
And
want to
it was-
piggyback off of that really quick, just because
Yeah.
we do keep comparing House and Devils, and as we should, they're his first two films, and they're within the same trilogy. I had the same kind of visual change that I'd liken to Ari Aster almost, where the first film is extremely dark, visually dark, lighting dark,
Yeah.
tones dark, and then the second film is bright and in the daylight,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the Hereditary to Midsummer effect. And I don't, Ari
yeah, I think,
has stolen
that's
from
a
some
good
of the
call.
greats himself.
Zach had to bring real art into this.
Horrific things happening in the daytime is really like
That's
it's a
the horror.
it's a
Yep.
bold move in horror. Not a lot of horror films do that, and they freaking nail it.
I do want to do a little deep dive in that motel scene because it's important.
Yes.
And I want to give some
Yes.
context to the audience if they are a little lost. Here's the context. There's this psychotic family, the Firefly family. They're looking for a place where they can meet up with Captain Spaulding, who's part of their clan. They find a rundown motel. That's their meetup place. They trap a traveling banjo musical group family within their room. They kill a couple of them. They make the women strip down naked. Otis has a very close interaction with the mother of this family, placing his gun within her panties, placing his gun in her ass, making her do sexual acts on him. I mean, this scene overall lasts for 10 to 15 minutes, right? And it is just like, it's gut-wrenching. It's gut-wrenching. And I want to make a point of it on the podcast that this is that filmmaker style where we're like, oh fuck, like you're making us watch something that's real. I mean, that might not have specifically happened, but these horrific events do happen, and that's where the fear comes from.
But that motel scene is 100% necessary to the film. Like, just want to throw that out there. Like, it is so impactful. It is so horrifying. But the first time I watched this movie was not a fan of Devil's Rejects. Totally and actually in an interview I saw, Rob Zombie, he made a really good point. He actually said that sometimes the films that you hate the most, right, the first time you watch them, they're the ones that end up being your favorites because you can't stop thinking about it. And you're like, why did I hate that movie so much? Why did I hate it so much? And the reason why I had hated it so much was I was unable to move past that motel scene and accept that the Firefly family are human. You know, that they're humans. And I was like, fuck Rob Zombie for trying to make me like, you know, feel for these freaking monsters and like they deserve everything that's coming. And they do deserve everything that's coming to them. However, when you go into the movie a second time or a third time and you're kind of can mentally prepare for that motel scene, as a woman, it's a little bit easier for me to take in. But as a woman, it was so hard for me to get past that motel scene that I couldn't feel anything but anger, which is the point. It's successful filmmaking right there. That scared me. I didn't like it. It freaked me out. And that is exactly what horror is supposed to do.
The way that he uses nudity, I noticed in the motel scene at least, I wrote down, it feels as though Rob Zombie is more interested in the flesh than sexuality.
Yes.
And I think that's a theme that he carries out throughout all of his films. I mean, to him, he sees us through, we're just these human bodies.
Long live the new flesh.
Yeah, we're a bunch of meat bags.
Whereas, and so many horror films and low-rate horror films, they will overuse a woman's sexuality just to sell a ticket. You know, whereas Rob Zombie's using it for a purpose in most instances. So
yeah, agreed. And Sherry Moon, again, like you get lots of great sexuality from Sherry Moon in this movie, but it's done in a very like empowering way. And I think that one thing I did notice among all of Rob Zombie films is whether you're a killer or whether you die, it's an equal playing field, whether you're a man or a woman, which I think is fucking sick. You don't get enough characters like Baby. You just don't.
But speaking of that, I did not see enough penis in Rob Zombie movies.
Hashtag free the PP.
Hashtag free the PIPI. Please get that trending. Because in more horror films, we need more PP. Hashtag free the PP.
You barely even looked at it.
It's a good looking dick, Peter. Beautiful dick.
We kind of touched on it when we first opened with Devil's Rejects and what we were talking about and how the film kind of changes pace and changes viewpoints almost between protagonist and antagonist or vice versa. After this horrific motel scene where we really truly see the grisly, darkest sides of these characters, all of a sudden we're kind of introduced into a more playful human version of these characters. And
for me, like I told Gabby, pause it. I was like, where are we at? And she's like, 1 hour and 8 minutes. And I was like, perfect. This is the moment the entire movie switches. It's like, you know, like kind of like, you know, from Dusk Till Dawn or whatever, where you change genres. And I think it's like, it went from like kind of like a horror movie to almost like a Western, like, cause it's like, you know, revenge of the sheriff or whatever, right?
A Western. I think that's the best way to describe the second half.
I saw it described as like a brutal Western. And so like I have the Tutti Fruity Adventures t-shirt on right now because I loved that scene so much, because I think it's like, he's like, how do I humanize these characters in like 30 seconds after, you know, the motel scene? And it's like, let's have them talk about ice cream and have them just be, you know, really playful about it. And then the way they stick the ice cream on his nose and then he smiles and just kind of laughs. You're like, wait, these people are psychopaths. Why are they having like normal human interactions? It's like, it's so jarring that it's like, it's almost kind of subtle in my eyes, in the sense of you don't realize that the first time that he's making you feel for these characters, and he's setting it up for the ending for it to be like, you know, an epic send-off that you're supposed to be on board with. But like the fact that he does that in like 30 seconds is like nuts.
Tutti fucking fruity! Shut up! Tutti fucking fruity! Tutti fucking fruity! Shut up! Tutti fucking fruity!
I want to keep us moving along because we are running a little long today and we have 38 movies more to get to.
The sexual assault scene is very, very difficult for me to watch. I could probably do without it, but at the same time, I don't know. I go back and forth. I'm like, oh God, maybe it's not a 4. Maybe it is a 5. I don't know. But yeah, it's a 4 for me. I really enjoy that movie.
I'm giving him full on 5 stars on this. It makes it difficult to watch, but he does it in such a way that it was supposed to make you feel a certain type of way, and he was able to execute that well. I think it gets 5 stars.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to rapid fire a lot of this. All right,
rapid fire, and then Matt, also when you're doing it, why don't you give us a nice big send off on the end of that movie? Because how the fuck did we miss that?
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna bring it up. All righty,
yeah, for sure.
So Matt's rapid fire session on Devil's Rejects in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so pretty much everyone agrees on the whole 4-star things. Everyone voiced it really well for me. It's just much like Tiny comes in. It's so much humor and that kind of things. First, it's in slow-mo, specifically. Things that we didn't mention at all, I feel like deserve a mention. Ken Forey's performance as Charlie. Sorry, I can't hear you over Freebird!
So next we're going to finish up the trilogy in 3 from Hell, but I do just want to give a quick shout out because we were kind of moving chronologically for a second, and that's just how it worked out, and we're not going to find any place else to mention this. The next thing that was released by Rob Zombie was Werewolf Women of the SS, and I know it has no place really anywhere to bring up, so I'm just going to bring it up now before we bring up fucking 3 from Hell. Werewolf Women of the SS was a fake trailer that Rob Zombie directed and was placed in the Tarantino Rodriguez double-billed Grindhouse film.
Which Zach and I snuck into together.
And Matt probably fell asleep during Death Proof, if I remember
correctly.
I
did not. And I surprisingly didn't pee during the whole thing because I was afraid I wasn't going to get out. So I didn't pee during a 3.5-hour movie.
We were so scared to get kicked out and not be able to get back in.
We sat in the back and we were quiet as fuck.
Oh, yeah. Because when you're that young, we just want to see, these greats do what they do in filmmaking.
Which isn't that fucking hilarious? Like, every movie we snuck into, we were quiet as hell. Like, we snuck into movies because we wanted to see them. We always, almost always bought a ticket to something.
We wanted to see them, or we were super quiet when we made out, too. So it was just,
Yeah, no. I had to give him dry because the moisture is just too loud. So it just had to be dry. But
yeah, Werewolf
rough.
Women of the SS. It's a 5-star, I'm sure, from all of us. It's just so fun. You get a cameo from Nicolas Cage. You get that great
Nicolas Cage cameo, bro.
You get that great sound drop that will hopefully drop in where he screams,
"This is my mission!"
It showed like a really fun side, and it kind of takes all the seriousness out of what was House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects from the filmmaker's perspective of like, oh, you just because you're going to show us this insane rape scene that's very grounded in the real world, like, that was a film and you recognize that. And I feel like Werewolf Women of the SS was like, hey, I'm fun too. So
I'm a fun guy.
Let's move into the finale of the trilogy because I know we won't want to cover it any other time. 3 from Hell is the final and third film of the Firefly family trilogy. Go ahead, guys.
I feel like we can wrap this up pretty quickly. As my single note for 3 from Hell is should not exist. Fucking Halloween I wanted to address because I just watched it most recently. And the one thing that I wanted to get out of the way right away with Halloween is that my first note was, this is a Rob Zombie film from the first frame. Like, I literally, from the first frame of the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, Rob Zombie made this.
I just want to say, this little kid in Halloween is crazy. And in take a step back in the grand scheme of things, how fucking cool that Rob Zombie gave us a whole look at what Michael Myers as a kid would actually be like.
I agree.
Yeah, it was amid, the whole like origin story boom. But yeah.
But like, how fucking crazy is he? This is Rob Zombie painting the craziest picture of him. The kid playing Michael Myers in a scene sits at a table and willingly eats candy corn and orange peas. That's a fucking psychopath.
That is some psycho shit. So you call me a psychopath for eating salads without dressings and shit like that? No, like eating candy corn, that's some true psychopath shit.
Willingly, he had other candy.
I'll give you that.
He had other candy. That's all I'm saying.
Whoever designed that was a purposeful choice for sure.
I can imagine if I had to eat that much candy corn, I would probably murder my entire family too.
That's what I'm saying. Rob Zombie's a goddamn artiste. He places those clues in there for us.
And there's a candy corn in this one.
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
But there was something really scary about that time, though. I did write a note, that kid fucking killed it. Because when he just walks over and grabs the knife and tape, he just looks so relaxed and so deliberate. There's no hesitation. It's just that, the kid was just so relaxed, and that was fucking eerie.
Poor Steve got his brains bashed in with a fucking baseball bat.
Did you see him twitch like Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yes, that was in my notes.
Yes,
I
we all did it,
bro.
We all watched it.
Oh,
that's what happens when you watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre before every Rob Zombie movie. You're like, oh, here's his Texas Chainsaw Massacre reference.
The movie that started the slasher craze. Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Last House on the Left, or Psycho.
Texas Chainsaw.
First of all, before I get to Danny Trejo, because I feel like, he was so nice to him. But before I get to Danny Trejo, did you guys have to do the raping in the 7-foot-tall serial killer's fucking padded room?
Oh my God.
When you go do your raping of a crazy girl, do you have to go pick the 8-foot-tall Frankenstein person room to go do your
obviously
raping
we're getting into later on, right? So yeah, no, I agree. You're gonna go into this fucking monster, and not only that, but when the guy comes in and he's talking about how he's fucking dude, I'll fuck you up, blah 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 blah. It's bitch, you wouldn't do fucking shit to Michael Myers. He's Tyler Mane, the actor that fucking played Michael Myers, is built like a brick shit house. He is massive. He's 6'8". He's huge.
He's huge.
I argue that guy did not get a bad enough death.
Oh no,
yes,
I agree.
He should have
Trejo's death was worth.
Definitely.
His death should have been a kill of the week.
For sure, he was such an asshole. Such a piece of shit.
Oh, I hate that guy.
I just think the Trejo death, it hurt me in my heart because he was so nice to him. But obviously, for film purposes or for following film storylines, that shows when Michael Myers is truly mercilessness in him. He's just.
We all have the same fucking note. I put Danny Trejo is always a delight, and his death proves that he's actually a psycho.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I actually kind of like that Michael just straight up killed him because it would have come off as cheesy and stupid if he hadn't.
If he pets his head, he's just leaves.
Yeah,
he's tiny. He's tiny from Devil's or from House.
No, he says Happy Halloween.
Point to Gabby. Point to Gabby.
Point to Gabby.
I'll give a point to Gabby for being able to call back to that. And actually going back to when Michael was a child versus a grown, massive human fucking being.
He paid a lot of homage to the original. I mean, with steady cam shots between the houses, the ghost costume with the glasses. He knew where the roots were, and you can tell watching Zombie's earlier films. This was a huge inspiration for him and an honor to make Halloween 1. So I think his heart was in the right place for this movie.
No, I'll agree.
Even if his brain 100%. Wasn't. No, what he does is I think that there's always so much of his DNA, but I think he's so filled with references and stuff like that. It's basically doing a remix of horror movies. There's an art to it.
Which is why when he already naturally remixes horror movies, probably not the best idea for him to reboot a franchise that's had 6 films previously. You can only remix till it's just watered down enough to where we don't care. Which is why the first 45 minutes are cool, because it's this is new. I don't know what any of this is.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about his childhood, but the rest is seen it, been there, done that.
Especially the third act, man. The third act just really drags on. It gets to the point where you're just just kill the
how fucking awesome is the last like second of that film?
Oh, where she shoots him in the
gunshot
face?
to the face, blood splatter, and there's
Wait, so
you're like,
then,
oh,
so
bro,
he gets so I fell asleep like at the very end. So if he got a gunshot to the face, how do you end up with Halloween 2? What happens with Halloween 2?
Okay, so close the book on Halloween, right? So Halloween 2, one of the things that I notice is, so you go in, right? And one of the things that I thought was really interesting is Gabby, to your point, they talk about it. They're like, Michael Myers is dead. They're sending his body to the morgue and everything's good. And then the sheriff is like, he ain't dead until it's over, or it's not over till it's over. And he's basically calling out the fact that he doesn't believe that Michael Myers is dead. I literally wrote, yeah, the sheriff fucking gets it.
What, for Halloween 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
This fucker read the script.
So this is like the 3 from Hell for Rob Zombie's Halloween?
Pretty much.
No. You guys
Yeah,
got
not
Halloween
quite
2
that bad.
all wrong. Halloween 2, and this is truly what I believe. I don't have any facts to back this up, so fuck you, But what I believe is Halloween 1 made so much fucking money that they were like, Rob, you got to do a sequel. Like, you have to do a sequel for us. And I guarantee you, Rob was like, look at my margins. 15 million against 85 is what I made you. If I'm doing a sequel, I get to do whatever the fuck I want. They're like, yeah, sure. We're off. No hands on from the studio. And that's what Halloween 2 was. And it's just fucking insanity. Like, and not insanity in a good way. Insanity like you feel like you're losing your mind watching it.
I'm freaking out, man. You are freaking out, man.
He didn't want to do a sequel. That ending to
You can feel
Halloween,
it.
that was supposed to be the end. And so they said, like, hey, we're going to have someone else make it. And he's like, no, fuck that. And so he came back and made it. But, obviously you can tell that he didn't want to make a sequel. Because I remember, I actually didn't get to watch this. But one thing I do remember is I watched this as a teenager. My peak, like, Rob Zombie, like, fandom. And I didn't like it then.
Why the fuck are we recasting the kid? He was so good.
I actually read up on it. So they actually did film scenes with the original actor, but it was very noticeable that he had already aged. He had gotten older, so they had to recast. So I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll give them that.
He was like at that, right at that preteen stage, and
he was right at that age. So they did actually try to rehash it with the original actor. So I'll give them that.
How old are you?
22.
You certainly are.
I got a couple of quick fire notes from that film that I just want to get out there.
Sure.
The brutal factor was upped way harder in Halloween 2. I thought that the boot stomp was fucking epic as shit.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about, Ben?
Oh yeah.
Which I might just be bringing up at the end of the episode, so I don't want to go too into it right now.
I literally wrote "damn the head stomp" though.
Yeah, the little pumpkin children are come out for this one to play, which I think we'll talk about more. And he tried something new in the franchise, and I thought it's cool that he tried something new. He gave Michael a voice in this film. We've never seen the character Michael Myers have a voice, and he let his voice be his inner child. And that's really fucking cool to try something new. It doesn't land. It's not, it's not like, wow, I just love it so much. But he fucking tried. And that's really cool. And I think my bottom line for both Halloween films, even though I enjoyed the first one, I think my absolute bottom line is, you know what? I wish Zombie had just teamed up with John Carpenter. And I wish that Carpenter could have consulted and helped him produce a new film, a new franchise outside of the Halloween moniker, because I don't think he needed to touch the Halloween franchise.
I think you definitely touched on a point that I feel about all Rob Zombie movies is that no matter what, they get a gold star. They get a participation award.
Absolutely.
It's always cool to watch him try. Like, that's the thing is, every time he comes out with a movie, I will watch him try.
All right, let's do some Halloween scores. I'll wrap up Halloween.
Yeah.
I gave it 4 stars, the big 4, for multiple reasons, mainly because out of all of his movies, it was the most I was looking forward to watching, just because I forgot what his take was on the franchise, and it didn't disappoint me. It was really fresh. It was really, really fresh. And when, like I said it before, but when you have a franchise that's had 6 installments previously and they ask you to reboot it, how the fuck are you going to show me something new? And he did.
Yeah.
He did it effortlessly. Showed me something new.
And it's so funny because Rob Zombie has actually mentioned before, he's like, everybody hates my movies when they initially come out. And he's like, and then 10 years later, everybody loves them. And so it's kind of one of those things where, like, I'm sure like this movie can kind of be looked at that way.
I want to do our scores for Halloween 2 really quick.
Oh yeah, I forgot Halloween 2. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that movie. Which actually, I think this will just be Ben and I because we watched it.
Yes.
Yep.
So
1 star because I didn't like it as a kid.
Yeah. Quickly from Matt. Ben and I are tied on this one, which is nice. We're in agreement. We're friends again.
Yeah.
Ben, you want to go ahead and lead it off?
Yeah, dude. I went with a 3-star rating. So obviously a little bit higher.
Oh, you went 3 on Halloween 2? I didn't even
What'd
see
you think
that.
I did?
Oh, I thought you went 2. Shut the fuck
No,
up.
I went 3. I went 2 with Halloween 1.
Oh, is Ben being the contrarian asshole this episode?
Oh my god.
All you are, my dear, is a contrarian.
Oh, please, you could not be more off base.
The Haunted World of El Super Beasto, the fucking greatest palate cleanser of the Rob Zombie world we could have ever asked for.
Yeah, it's so I'm going on 30. And I'm an older gentleman now. And I had also just finished watching, like, keep in mind, when we're doing research for a director's showcase, we're doing all the films, and I crammed them all in one day, which might have not been the best idea. But Super Beasto was near the end of my day. And to just have something so loud and vulgar shouting at me, and just, it was like the pace was breakneck. I had no time to catch up. It was so scattered for me that I couldn't really catch on. But watching it and finishing it, because I watched it all the way through, I realized, like, damn, that was just a cartoon full of songs, really funny songs, big old cartoon titties, you know, like fart jokes, fucking close-ups of toe fungus. Like, if I had seen that as a kid, I would have idolized it. I would have worshipped it. I would have learned every fucking song. I would have learned every fucking line, and I would have used it as like a rebellion against anyone who didn't understand it. Anyone that even for a second said that they didn't get it, I'd be like, well, I fucking do, and fuck you. And in that respect, I see it and I enjoy it for what it is. And it's a great rebellious act, especially in animation, because animation is so universally loved between all ages, right? Young and old, we can all come together on animation. And then when you take something like that and you give it a middle finger and a face, that's pretty fucking
as
rock
Rob
and roll.
Zombie does.
As Rob Zombie does.
Can I give Zach a point for that? Because that was like,
that was well.
it's like you had that. You really had that one just nailed.
Zombie Nazis fucking with my day now constantly goes through my head as an adult. Like, it's pretty
Are you
crazy.
shitting me? Here comes more of them.
Are you shitting me? Here comes more of them.
Exactly. And not only that, but all the actors do such a good job.
Yeah, Zach did touch on the whole point of I wanted to leave that one in the past. So he mentioned, like, you know, if I had watched that when I was younger, I would have liked it. And I'm like, I kind of wanted to leave it when I was younger and liked it. And so I was like, you know, spoiler alert, I gave it 3 stars. I like that movie, and I kind of want that one to stay in my past, in my memory. I'm like, I kind of just want to keep that one on nostalgia goggles and maybe revisit it like way later on. But I kind of like, there's certain movies that I just kind of want to leave as happy memories.
I gave it 4 stars. Like, it's just so much fun. Like, I couldn't go on full and say I gave it 5 stars because it does. It's raw. It's fucking all over the place. It's definitely like high school humor and shit. But it has a special place in my heart because I grew up with it, and like it's just so much fun for me. And again, great fucking palate cleanser for all the serious shit that we watched with Rob Zombie. Yeah, I definitely gave it a 4.
There's a 2012 film called The Lords of Salem, starring starring Sherry Moon Zombie.
What are the odds in a Rob Zombie film? Sherry Moon's in it?
Hey, nobody's complaining.
This was a real test in her acting abilities. It was a real leap, a real growth in her acting career. And Rob Zombie really shined the spotlight on her and put her in a setting that's, you know, the witch trials in Salem, and that has to be so personal for him coming from Massachusetts. Like, this has to be one of the more personal films. I haven't seen any facts to back that, but come on, like, just logically looking at it, like, this has to be something personal that maybe could have been stories told to him when he was younger. And I fucking loved it. I fucking loved it.
Dude, I love that's what Zach's notes are. And then, like, my first note is 1696, and then I highlighted the 69 in the middle and put so I'm glad that's how you feel about Lords of Salem. I think I approached it from a different angle.
What number are we thinking of?
69, dudes!
I know that all three of you, I know that the ratings are all over the place. I don't think any of you gave it a 1. I haven't checked, but I'm definitely the most positive on it. And for a multitude of reasons. I mean, it feels, the atmosphere is horror more than any other movie. More than any other movie.
That this movie is definitely an atmospheric movie for sure.
Yeah. I want to let the audience know they play a segment. They're radio DJs in the Lords of Salem, the 3 main characters, but we really mainly just follow Sherry. And they play a segment called Smash or Trash, and they don't really explain the rules of it, but I kind of wanted to adapt the idea of that segment and play Smash or Trash with Lords of Salem. I really loved the film. Is there anybody that would like to play against me that didn't like the film?
I feel like Ben is obligated to. What do you think, Gabby?
Yeah.
I was going to just say Ben, but I wanted to open the floor for the audience to hear the how natural this is.
I need to have that movie deserves a rewatch now that it's been 8 years.
Okay, so Ben,
watched it.
Ben, you're free to open up your notes if you need them. But I
don't have many.
I don't either. I was deep in the movies by then. I wasn't taking many notes. So here are the rules for the audience to listen of what I came up for Smash or Trash. Ben and I are going to go back and forth. He's going to say something that he didn't like about the film, possibly negative, a funny point, pointing more towards the side that it's probably not the best movie. And I'm going to say something in the opposite effect. Something positive, something that I really like. It can be absolutely anything. The whole point of this game, don't stutter, don't hesitate, keep firing. The second you don't fire a bullet, or if you fire the same bullet, you're trashed. All right?
Oh, it's too bad because I was going to use the same bullet each time.
Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie.
Smash or Trash.
Smash, smash, smash.
I'll start it off, and if somebody wants to ring the bell, we'll get going.
Okay. Ding, ding, ding.
Witch titties.
Saggy witch titties.
Oh. If you smoke crack, you learn French.
You actually wrote that shit down?
Zach's the winner.
Boston.
Rush.
Random nonsensical sounds that just make me want to fucking kill myself.
Faceless doctors.
Ooh.
Aborted clay fetuses.
That should have been one of Zach's points.
Pumpkin babies.
Masturbating jesters with fucking great purple dildos.
Also a positive.
I was going to say, you keep doing points for Zach. I feel like Zach wins at this point.
You know, it's funny. I'll give Zach this one because, like, honestly, like, rewatching it, like, I didn't hate it as much as I did the first time. There was a couple things.
Ben was pushed into this. I have to give Ben a point for playing Smash or Trash the first time ever.
Thank you.
Gold star for Ben.
I was going to ask you guys because I don't remember. Was this his only modern day film?
No. Three from Hell was. I thought 3 from Hell was modern day. I can't remember.
Well, it can't be because the others were set in the 70s.
Yeah, it seems like it. Everything else was in the 70s, wasn't it? Yeah.
Right, but not modern day. I think this was the only.
Yeah, I guess.
His only modern day film.
So if anything, it might have been the 80s.
Yeah.
I'm going to rapid fire you. So, fun fact, no special effects were used in this film. That means that Naked Witch was actually standing on that
and
counter.
Everything was practical. How do you not love that?
Yep.
That's terrifying.
Fucking terrifying.
That is, yes, which honestly, I'm fucking glad you said that.
That's actually very signature Rob Zombie in general.
He tries as hard as he can to do it, but Zach touched on it. I feel like this is his
100%.
Scariest movie. In my opinion, this movie scared me the most.
Wow, that's fucking scary.
Yeah, well, I wanted it to be impressive. And scary tends to impress.
The beginning of that movie, that fucking goat, that was not the first human sacrifice that goat has seen. He has seen more than one. That goat was just not phased at all. Sorry.
That was a great title drop with the goat too. The goat in half of the frame, and then Lords of Salem drop on the.
Yeah,
that was badass.
The goat was not giving a fuck. He was just like, yeah, another human sacrifice.
Would you argue that this is probably Sherry Moon's like best acting.
100%.
Oh yeah,
100%.
I think she played the downward spiral and losing control of herself completely really well.
I think she did.
But then in the end, she gets to embrace the power, and you get to see it while she stands atop like 30 naked women bodies. You're just like, oh yeah, fuck, this is epic. Like,
dude, Mozart's Requiem playing too, like all that shit.
Let's go into scores.
This really was, I think, kind of the peak, and it showed off like what Rob Zombie's able to do as a director. It showed off what Sherry Moon is able to do as an actress. Like, they really, really sold this movie for me. Is it like is it my cup of tea? Am I going to go back and watch it over and over and over again like I would Devil's Rejects? No, but I think it holds a very special place in my heart, like as far as just being a beautiful film and what they were able to do. I'm going to give it a strong 3 stars, if not leaning towards the 4-star, but I'm going to give it a 3-star rating.
I'm sure it was clear from the outset. I rated this movie highly. So highly, I was even surprised. I gave it the full 5 stars. It stuck with me. It really did. Like, and in just the couple days that we've had to research, the only movie out of all of these movies I watched, the only one that kept running through my head was this one. Like, there was just so many iconic scenes and imagery from this film that like was deeply unsettling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and like
literally the last note on my notes is what the We're going into 31, which was arguably one of Rob Zombie's. Apparently, like, everybody fucking hated this movie. And quite frankly, I'm going to come out and say it. I liked it. It was entertaining. It was a lot of fun.
I almost said, like, we weren't supposed to watch 31. Like, I thought all the rumors surrounding it, I like, maybe we shouldn't. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I guess we're going completionist. And I just wanted to say, my first note was Doomhead's opening monologue is fucking amazing. Like, him staring into the fucking camera. Yeah, I think he blinks maybe 3 times the whole speech, and just like so menacingly. And like, one thing that I always love is like the concept of like someone killing for a job. Like, he's just like, he comes off as like, I'm a professional, like, this is what I do, I'm good at it. Like, you know, it comes up all throughout the movie, like his confidence. And I just love it. Like, it's just a game for him, and it's just, he's just killing it.
He was
like,
so
he
good
knows
that
he's the best.
I could watch more. I could watch like a standalone Doomhead.
Yeah.
I wanted a whole movie
agree.
about him. And I feel like the reason why I didn't round up on my score later on is because I feel like I wanted more of him in this movie.
You should be thanking me, man. I'm sending you straight to the fucking pearly gates with a first-class ticket.
So I want to explain just a little more for the audience. These 5 travelers are kidnapped by rich debutantes, if you will, and they're placed in a torturous Saw-like game where each are given odds on who's most likely to survive this game. They just have to survive these crazy killers in different rooms over the course of a night, right? So that's basically what's going on.
So this is just Rob Zombie's version of Running Man. Have you seen that one? It's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
I haven't seen Running Man
from the 80s. It's a game show.
Dude, it's great.
It's literally, all right, so imagine it's prisoners get put into this area that's gets filled with psychopaths that kill them, and they all have different themes. And the game is rigged.
This is exact.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
exactly.
like literally.
Literally, when we were watching this, I was
Zach,
like,
go watch it
this is
after
right.
this,
Yeah.
and you might actually like it. It's such an entertaining movie, and then just like it has such great Arnie quotes in it. Like, it's
100%.
it's fucking good.
But I hope you leave enough room for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine.
So for all the people that have ever wanted to see like those good fucking hardcore chainsaw kills, so when you're watching like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre and you're like, they don't really show much.
I wonder what it looks like.
Yeah, watch 31 and then you're going to realize real quick why they don't typically show it in movies, because it is fucking graphic.
Is that how we look on the inside? There's so much fluff.
Did you guys notice that the clown prince at the end monologued himself out of his kill? Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, got caught monologuing.
You sly dog! You got me monologuing! I can't believe it.
Just going for the kill. What are we doing here?
Also, how about when he gets into character and just like, yeah, I'm not crazy, I'm in control, bashes his face, and then walks out calm, and he's like, all right, take the rest of the night off.
I'm not crazy, I'm in control. I'm not
I do have the better ending. And so for those of you that haven't watched it, the ending is Sherry Moon, she's the survivor girl. Oh, what are the odds, right? So she's a survivor girl. She makes it. She's walking down the freeway. She's covered in blood. You know, she's just doing that survivor girl. I've gone through so much shit.
It's totally.
Walk.
Yeah.
It is the
Totally,
same.
dude.
It is like, I want to do a mod. Like at some point, we'll just pull a clip of like how they all do that same like crestfallen walk. And like they're
We
covered
need a
in blood.
montage.
Yeah.
Montage.
So she's doing that, and then Doomhead pulls up with Dream On by Aerosmith because Rob Zombie knows how to pick fucking music in movies.
Yes, he fucking does.
And so, and then he comes up behind her. He pulls up, stops, comes up behind her. You know, fucking music builds up. He pulls out his knives and smiles or whatever. And so, you know, it's implied that he's going to kill her, right? And I was like, that's kind of a shit ending because it goes off like against everything like the character was from the beginning. So I thought the better way to end it would be he pulls up and instead of parking behind her, he actually pulls up next to her and asks if she wants a ride.
Yeah.
Because I think that him treating it truly like a job and acknowledging that he got beat and that his time is up and he still got paid. It's like, all right, you want to ride? And I think it would be great after everything she's been through if she just got in the car and then he just pulls off into black with Dream On.
I could even expand on that and say after they get in the car, we could roll credits. And if credits rolled on top of them two, like playing darts or pool in a bar or drinking a beer, like where you can't hear their conversation.
Oh yeah,
like, I would love
and then you show
that.
like those like 70s style picture, like the like the 16 millimeter or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
if they're just fucking hanging out and like having a drink and like that was crazy.
one more silver dollar.
That's the song for sure.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Is this something I would want to rewatch? Probably not. Did I have a good time watching it? I did. But like with so much content and so many great movies and so many bad movies and so many blah, blah, blah to watch, is this something that I'm going to go out of my way to rewatch? Fucking never. Ever, ever, ever. Whereas like Lords of Salem, I probably would find a time to be like, yeah, that movie's really good. I really appreciate it. So that's what knocked it down from a 2 to a 1 because I was at a 2. I do enjoy like a good fuckfest of violence. I'm with it. But but this one just, I don't know. All of it just seemed like it was made and I was like, not really sure why I needed that. I didn't. I even wrote in my notes, this isn't a film that needed to be critiqued because it's not that kind of movie. You go into it knowing that it's just like, it's a fun time if this is your idea of fun. And sometimes it is.
That's a really good
It's like going to the carnival.
You contrarian asshole.
I don't think this is contrarian. I think we're all kind of low.
Contrarian. I think we're the contrarian assholes on this one, actually.
Yeah, probably.
For me, like it's, you make a point as to like, this movie didn't really need to get made. Well, there's a lot of movies that like that, right? And sometimes those are the types of movies that do need to get made. I think, and especially in a time like right now, where I have nothing better to do than sit and fucking watch blood and gore and guts. It was super entertaining for me. It kept me engaged throughout. I feel like you could probably shave off maybe 15 to 20 minutes of this film and you'd have a solid 90-minute film that was just unbelievable. You got crazy fucking chainsaw kills. You got over the top gore, but it wasn't done in a way to where it's like completely off-putting. You had great acting throughout. There was a lot of fun with it. It had that rewatchability quality to me. I gave it 4 stars. I had a really good time watching that film.
This is the last call for alcohol this evening. Drink up, drink up, drink up, and order again.
All right, that's right. We've come to the end of the show, and as always, we are going to be calling out Last Call, everybody. And what do we do during Last Call? What are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about a couple things, right? So let's start off with who do we think the kill of the goddamn week, you motherfuckers, is?
I'm going to start off Kill of the Week because I feel the weakest about it. And it's also a movie that not everyone watched. But I was going back and forth on my Kill of the Week. There was a lot of deaths that we watched. And the only one that kept sticking in my mind, even though I tried to argue myself into other ones, the only one that stuck in my mind was in Halloween 2. And it was when Michael boot stomps the shit out of this guy's face on the ground. I mean, guys, it is so brutal.
Yeah.
And I'm going to post it on our social media if we can when we get that going. It is so brutal. Like, he stomps his face with his boot for like 4 or 5 times, looks at him, and then stomps like 3 more times until it's just a pulp on the. I mean, it is so.
It's graphic.
Like, my mouth was hung open. I was like, I can't. Like, and I've tried to argue myself into other kills because there probably were better kills, but that one fucked me up. So that's my kill of the week.
So mine is actually nothing. It's kind of surprising. So mine's from Devil's Rejects. It's actually the kill in the motel room when Brian Posehn just gets shot.
That was one of my nominations.
Point blank, no questions asked. I feel like that kill sets the fucking tone so hard.
That's good.
That was one of my nominations.
Yeah,
I think obviously the other kill in that is the knife throw from Sherry Moon in that one.
So
I think the reason,
Dude,
I think the reason why. I think the reason why that kill actually is significant is like, oh yeah, knife throw, that's okay. But it's after the gun like goes off and proves that it's empty, and she's like, it's all, that's all mind games.
It's all mind games, you stupid. Like,
and then she throws the knife.
Power, you stupid bitch.
And
that's
so
right.
that like mind fuckery of like, you think that she's got the drop on her and she does it, and then it's just so nonchalant of like, oh, by the way, boom, knife to the fucking chest.
Is that your kill of the week, Matt?
No.
Oh.
My kill of the week is every
he was just calling out what I thought Gabby's was going to be.
Every chainsaw kill in 31, because from the moment that motherfucker pops up through the hay, chainsaws a bitch in half. Like, well, it's so perfect is that beforehand,
the long way, not the short way either.
Yeah, they're arguing vivisected, right? We're bringing it back.
Not hamburgers.
You mean fucking nailed it? That's exactly what I was thinking. They went hot
Point for
dog
Gabby.
style, not hamburger.
Point.
God damn it! Point for Gabby.
Point.
And so
underdog
from that moment, like, which I think was great because the characters were arguing over if she was a plant or not, and so I think that settled the argument pretty quick. And then
For real.
like them putting him on top of his chainsaw, but not only like putting on top of him, but fucking beating him to death while standing on top of him on a chainsaw. And lest we forget the best one of all, chainsaw decapitation. Fucking the one thing that we couldn't see in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, they showed you every way a chainsaw can fucking kill someone, and so I had to go kill of the week.
My kill of the week is actually going to be from House of Thousand Corpses, from the original.
Yay, we all did different movies.
Cocksuckers.
I'm so proud of us.
And Matt's pissed because he's like, we talked about this prior too. So my kill of the week is actually the first fucking kill.
Oh, that was my second.
It's the first kill that Rob Zombie films in the, or has shot in the movies, right? It's gonna be with fucking Captain Spaulding. He's in his little fucking gas station. These guys burst in and they're trying to threaten him, rob him, and he's so fucking calm and collected, like, fuck you. And then it gets to the point where they do the whole going back and forth, and he's like, fuck your grandmother. Or fuck your mother, fuck your grandma, but most of all, fuck you. Bam, 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 and just fucking unloads into him.
I will say, I fully support you on, like, I could say that that's kill of the week, but I will say you are wrong. That wasn't the first kill. It was the guy taking the axe to the chest. That was the first kill. It's when he breaks in, he kills the guy with the mask. Kills the other guy, and then he did that.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
so dropping Rob Zombie facts on your ass.
Oh, yeah. Give me that cocktail of the week.
We're going to be sharing our cocktail of the week. Our cocktail of the week showcases whichever theme or director and what we think makes up the best ingredients for what could possibly be the best cocktail for that subject. This week, it's going to be Rob Zombie. These are our cocktails of the week of the best ingredients of a Rob Zombie film.
I nominate Gabby to go first.
You want me to go first because you guys don't want to lose. Mine is called Tutti Fucking Fruity.
Ooh!
2 scoops of Tutti Frutti ice cream soaked in moonshine, topped with the blood of a throat slit, because there were a lot of those.
Damn, that's a good one. I like that.
My drink is called, and if you're familiar with the way that Rob Zombie names his albums, you'll appreciate this more.
So it's really long.
So mine's called Rob Zombie's Psychedelic Psycho Pussy Liquor.
Yeah.
So for those of you that didn't get that, Rob Zombie's Psychedelic Psycho Pussy Liquor.
Fuck yeah.
And so this is 1 hit of acid, 2 Sherry Moon butt cheeks. You look at a bottle of 3 from hell to remind yourself of the mistake that you're about to make, a double shot of straight Carney moonshine, and an optional sprinkle of uncomfortable rape scenes.
Oh, god damn.
Damn, bro. My cocktail is you take 1 part grease paint, you take equal parts well-placed nudity, and an over-sexualized E.G. Daily. And then you add in some muddled blood and dirt. You serve that in an old-fashioned glass with a sliced ear garnish, and you're gonna have a nice Rob Zombie old-fashioned. Now, there is a catch to this. This is a limited offer drink and can only be ordered on Halloween night in the 1970s.
Yeah, I like that little bit at the end. That's good.
You start with 2 to 4 inches of sherry crack. You you muddle 3 peeled faces to get all those juices in there. You want to do about 3/4 ounces of neon lights and about 1/2 ounce of bunny blood. Shake and strain over candy corn, and you garnish with skewered Tommy pickles.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, shit.
Since I can't vote for myself, I vote Zach.
No, honestly, like this was something that I was gonna pose. Like, this is a really everybody did their goddamn homework on this one. Everybody
Points
did a
for
really
all?
good job. I feel like everybody gets a point.
Oh,
No, we don't do that shit
that's some
here. No
bullshit.
participation trophies.
You can't vote for
No
yourself.
gold stars.
So
I vote Zach.
I'm gonna vote for Matt.
I'm also going to vote for Matt.
Oh, tiebreaker, Ben.
And honestly, I'm gonna give it to Matt. Matt did a really good job
Let's
with
give it to
his.
Matt.
He gets the points.
I did love yours though. Like that's the thing.
Zach's was sick too.
Everyone brought it so hard, and I'm gonna tie it all together right now, but I wasn't prepared, so I'm talking without a plan. This was our Rob Zombie tribute. This was our Rob Zombie as far, deep, and hard and fast as we could go into fucking Rob Zombie's asshole. We went.
You know what? I have to say, going through, it's like same thing with listening to his music. I realize that there's more stuff from Rob Zombie that I don't like than I do like, but the stuff that I do like from Rob Zombie, I like with such a passion that I'm just a Rob Zombie fan no matter what.
I want to add thank you to Rob Zombie for giving us something even better than a Final Girl or a Scream Queen. Like, he gave us fucking Sherry Moon Zombie, dude. And
Preach.
like,
Yeah.
she is like,
dude, good call.
she's a savage. Like, thank you for making her go on screen, and thank you for like doing his movies. Like, I know she won't do other acting gigs, and you know, I respect that, but like, I'm glad that she did these roles.
As a husband that forces his wife into creative projects, I can really respect Rob Zombie and Sherry Moon Zombie.
And I would have to agree. I mean, obviously, we want to thank Rob for everything that he has brought to the table over the last, several decades. I mean, he's given us literally years and years and years of shit to talk about, and we've been talking about it since we were all in high school together, and like we continue to try and make a career of it now. And honestly, just fucking from the bottom of our hearts, I think we really do feel that this guy is just fucking given us so much to be able to chew on and fucking go with, and like it is given us something to talk about over the last week, and it truly has been a fucking roller coaster of a ride. So thank you for everything. Even if we didn't like it 100%, we still respect it. So thank you, Rob, for everything do.
Thank you, Rob. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to Happy Horror Hour. I'm Zach.
I'm Ben.
I'm Matt.
And I'm your final girl, Gabby.
I was leaning 3, and the only reason I dropped it to 2 was so that my score for Devil's Rejects had more of an impact in my rating.
Yeah, and that's
I
another
thought
thing
it was just
too.
because you're being a
is
contrarian asshole.
no, no, like that.
Hold on. Point for Matt.
Point for Matt. Yeah, I concede. Point to Matt. And you know what Schindler's List does have is Jews.
Oh, he's doing
Who hates
he
the
does
Jews?
the exact
Little
same.
Spanish Nazis.
Same segue.
Dude, it's like what Rob Zombie does. He's like, that's a good idea. I'm going to try and make it work a second time.
Oh, point for Matt.
Yeah.
Can I get a point for repitching the same idea and still getting you to laugh?
No pandering.
No point
pandering.
pandering, Ben. No point pandering.
Get out of here.
This fat